If I was to offer you to buy this watch for £10,000, how many of you would snap my hand off to get this? Now, why am I using this as an example? If you want to create success in your life, you must understand value, or what we call intrinsic value. There are actually 6 different types of value. I'm going to share those with you in just a moment. Now, the make of the model of this watch is a Rolex Hulk. Right? You can see it's got green and green. So it's a very rare model. So if you go online, you can see actually how much they are. But a lot of people come across a lot of these opportunities every single day or every single year, or every single month, but they don't capitalize on it. So that's why I want to teach you, if you want to become successful, there are actually 6 things that you really want to pay attention to really get this. So, and I've got my notes down here, so I want to share this with you, and we're going to have like a little conversation. So, why is this important for you to understand? Because intrinsic value is something that is invisible. You can't see it. And you have to be able to train your eye to see it. For example, how many of you have wanted to buy a car before? And you say, you know what, I'm going to buy that yellow BMW. And you drive around, and because you've consciously made that decision, you start seeing all these yellow BMWs everywhere, right? How many of you can relate to this? Type in yes below. So what happens is, my question to you is, were these yellow BMWs always there, or did they just suddenly appear from nowhere? Just like the example I gave you with the watch. Like, when it's on your radar, you start to see it. And I'll give an example. I was in London today, and I was in a cab. And the taxi driver said to me, he said, can I ask you a question? What is it that you do? Because I was doing some videos in the car. And I said, well, what I do is I create content, and I really want to teach people how to create more success in their life. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, there's 3 different areas that people want to improve in their life, because he immediately went straight to money. Money is not an indicator of success. I mean, to an extent, yes. But I know a lot of very wealthy people who are not happy. So the second part of what we got to do now in our success is we got to make sure that we are creating happiness in our life through our health, through our relationship. How many of you believe that health is wealth? If you write the word health down, you take off the H, put a W there, it spells wealth. So actually our number one wealth is our health. How many of you agree with that, by the way? So that's why I want you to really start thinking about, and when we talk about these 6 things, we really, like, the first value is being able to see the value. All right, I'll give you another example. So maybe some of you heard this story before, but there was a father who said to his son, when you graduate, I'm going to give you this car. And this car's like 20 years old. So when he graduates, he gives him this car. And he says, well, and it's all rusty, it's got dust on there, it's been in the garage. He said, now this is your car. He said, but it's an old car. Like, what am I going to do with it? He says, the first thing I want you to do, I want you to take it down to the car garage and see how much money they give you for it. So he takes it down to the car garage. They're offering like, $500. He said, Dad, I only got $500 offered for this. And then he says, okay, well, take it down to the pawn shop, see how much they're going to give you for it. So they're like, they don't give me anything for this because it's old. No one wants to buy that car anymore. He said, right, now take it down to the car club. And they offer him $100,000. Now, why is this important? Because you got to be able to see the value. You have to understand and know the value. It's kind of like those Rembrandt houses. Like a lot of people buy houses. In the old days, I think my good friend Eric Edmonds was telling me the story actually. And he said, some of these houses, they have these really expensive paintings in. They're like $5 million. But some of the houses are also $5 million. So you buy the house, you get the painting. One of the terms is that you get everything in the house for free, right? As in, it's got to, it comes with it. So this is why, number one is you got to be able to see and understand the value. Okay, that's number one. Number two is you got to get education around it, right? So for example, coming back to the story of the guy in the car, and the taxi driver, he says to me, so what is it that you actually do? And then I was telling him, and he says, oh, what do you think of all this Bitcoin stuff? Because that, the spot ETF, I've got approved for the SEC, and that's a big thing because now it gives a bit of credibility to the market. So that's why you need to understand that whatever you're going to do, you got to get the education around it. That is one of the values that's super important, because once your brain understands, because when you go into business, there's going to be risk, right? Inherently, there's always going to be risk. So then how do you fight against that? You fight against it by de-risking. So if you want to do something right now and you're like, well, John, I don't know what to do, you need to find out how to de-risk that entire process. The moment you de-risk it is the moment that you're now able to start creating more confidence in that market as well. So if you take a look at a lot of people who missed the whole crypto Bitcoin, era, you could buy Bitcoins for very cheap, and now look what's kind of happened. And it will go up and down, it will fluctuate. But because of what's happened, you've got to get educated to de-risk. So you want to create success, you've not only got to be able to see the opportunity, but educate yourself on that. And then if I come back to the Rolex example, if you walk into any Rolex store right now and you ask them for this specific model, a steel Rolex Daytona, you will find that there are years of people on waiting lists trying to get these watches. I've actually been waiting for a very long time for my steel version. Still haven't got it yet, right? So I had to get the gold versions and all those different models. But the point here is that if you were able to walk, and the reason why people want them so much is because at the time of filming this video, you can buy them for like 25, 30,000 on the gray market, but when you get it, it's like half the price from retail. So that's why it's understanding and being able to see the value of how this stuff works as well. I want to come sit down over here and just share with you the next one, all right? So let's talk about the next one. Next one is we're going to talk about the trends, all right? So what sort of trends is sort of happening right now? So one of the big trends is I've mentioned a lot about artificial intelligence. And if you look at what's happening right now, GPT Store allows you to now go and create your own GPT. So imagine if you had your own version of ChatGPT. In fact, I don't know if any of you are familiar with CRMs, but CRM stands for a customer relationship management system. And what that allows people to do, it allows businesses to basically manage all of their customers using specific software. So why is that good for you? Because you can now create a software. There's actually a massive software where you can create it. And once you've created it, you can sell it to other businesses as a software. A lot of my friends who sell companies for a lot of money, I'm talking about 50 to 100 million. Recently, a friend of mine sold a company for 150 million. It's a software company. Why does software sell for so much money? Again, if you want to create success, you need to know the trends. That's why you see in the past, a lot of people were getting into NFTs. They were getting into the Web3 space, the crypto space, which is now, very interesting, isn't it? So you got to look at what are people currently doing right now to really sort of get to that next level. So by seeing the value, by getting educated, and by seeing the trends, but also the next one is what we call the BMV. So let me tell you a quick story. So a lot of you ask, John, what is it that you actually do? So I made a lot of money in real estate, I made a lot of money in tech and business and entrepreneurship, online businesses, so on and so forth. I made my first million in real estate at the age of 27. How? Because I was able to buy property below its market value. You see, when you get into a business, when you're doing something, you want to create success, right? The number one rule is you have to make money when you buy, not when you sell. So make money when you buy, not when you sell. So when I understood this concept, I was like, maybe I should start buying property below its market value. One of the first properties I bought was, again, it was on the market for 185,000. I bought it for 85,000 and I resold it for 185,000, made 100 grand like that. So this is why you must always look at things that are below its market value, because when it's below its market value, you always start to get that intrinsic value that's already built in, right? So that's why for a lot of people, when it comes to creating more success in their life, again, 3 areas: wealth, health, your relationships. One of these 3, but they all roll into each other. That's why your health is in direct proportion to the money that you make. When you have bad health, then your money starts to get affected, and so does your relationships. It's kind of like, imagine you've got, a rocket booster and you've got 3 engines firing up, and then one of the engines disappears and you've got 2 firing to push you in a different direction. So that's how you've got to start thinking about it, all right? So again, be able to see it, get educated in this, see the trends, get things which are always below its market value, like I do with real estate, but you can do it with everything. There's also undervalued stock. There's also undervalued companies. A lot of people, they always say to me, well, John, how do I find companies that are under its value? And the way you're able to find a company below its value is by simply finding companies that are underperforming, underutilizing its data, and then really seeing, is there any opportunity for growth, right? So success is all about creating more success from something that you can see that somebody else can't. I'll give you another story, right? So there was a massive shoe company, and they sent these executives and to do market research. And what they did, they send them to India, because they make shoes and trainings and things like that. And when they came back, the person said to him, so, like, how was it? Like, was it good? Was it bad? What's the opportunity? And do you know what the reply was? Listen to this. The reply was, oh, there's no opportunity there. And the executive said, why? Why is no opportunity? Because no one over there wears shoes. And so they start doing the business, and they send somebody else over there. That person goes, and then they come back and they ask the same question. So what's the opportunity? And the guy goes, oh my God, it's amazing. He said, why is it so amazing? Because no one over there wears shoes. So why am I telling you the story? This story is all about perspective, right? The perspective of the intrinsic value is what you are able to see that somebody else cannot see. So for example, when a big thing that I do, a lot of people come to me in their business, they go, John, my business is doing this. I want to double my income. And I look at the business and I see all these different holes. And I go, you can change this, 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 and this, right? In fact, as a matter of fact, I was with a friend today who's got a huge app that's coming out, and you'll know about it once it's launched. And it talks a lot about this concept of tokenization. So what is tokenization? Again, this is something you need to understand, especially in today's market. Tokenization is taking something where people can buy it basically using their own token. That's why they call it token. Think of it as points. Sometimes when you go and buy, you go to a store and you buy things, and now you get things back as points, right? That's basically a token. And I mean, I'm oversimplifying it here, but the point is that if you're able to see the intrinsic value that somebody else cannot, you win. I've done this a lot. Like, for example, sometimes I'll walk into a property, right? First thing I look at when I'm looking for value, I look up. Why do I look up? Because I want to look at the floor plan. I want to look at, based on this piece of real estate here, how many rooms can I get out of this space? Because the more, if you look at a 1-bedroom property versus a 2-bedroom property in London, and I own, quite a few properties in London, central London, zone 1, then what I realize is that if you can put another bedroom in there, you almost double the value of the property or that piece of real estate. So that's why I want you to start thinking about intrinsic value, okay? The last one that I think is super important in terms of value is the connection value, right? I'm gonna come over here and talk about this. By the way, if you are enjoying this, do me a favor and share this with somebody who really needs to learn more about how to create more success in their life. And I'm kind of giving you some of the models. That's why I kind of restarted this channel, to really give you some of the insights and some of the mindsets that's required to get there. Maybe some of you say, John, I need a little bit more inspiration. Can you give me some case studies, tell me some of the things that you've done? Because a lot of the events, a lot of you have heard me speak. I do a lot of keynotes all around the world, and I speak in front of thousands of people, and I'm talking a lot of the tactical things like step 1, step 2, step 3. But a lot of people always ask me, well, John, what's the background, what's the context to this? So let me talk to you about value, right? Value. So if you've ever seen me speak, or if you follow me on Instagram and all the different social platforms, you'll know that a lot of celebrities, a lot of public figures, they follow me on social media. Why? Well, first of all, when I talk about value connection, a lot of people reach out to me all the time and say, oh, John, I'd love to do a business partnership with you. John, I've got this business idea. I want to pitch it. Here's what it is. And they go straight in with the pitch. And that's actually how you should not do it. So when we talk about money capital, right, as value, there's also value in relationship capital. Let me explain what that means. Sometimes you meet somebody and they know you, you know them, you don't really do any business, right? But if you can find a little gap in there that can help. For example, right now, I am an investor in a big airline that's about to launch, right? And how did I get that? Because when I met this person on Instagram, they were launching an app and I put some seed capital into that. That app did really, really, really well, got millions of users on there. Now they have the second part of that, which is now their own airline. In fact, I was just sent some of the pictures of what it looks like in economy, some of the food, or everything, the cockpit, everything. And so when I look at, because people ask me, John, how do you get deals like that? Success is about connection. Success is about meeting the right people and being around the right people. And I think sometimes it's, a lot of people are not hanging around the right people, right? It's not who you know, but it's who knows you. So that's why it's so important for a lot of you to create the value connection. The value connection comes from adding value to somebody else. So here's one thing that you can do to immediately find value connection. And this is something I always do in a brand new relationship when I meet somebody for the first time. First question is, well, obviously, we have a little discussion and do a little small talk. The next question is, what are you currently working on right now that I can help you with? So actually, I'm asking all of you this question. What are you currently working on right now that I can help you with? Leave a comment below and let me know, right? And genuinely, I would love to be able to support a lot of you. If any of you want to reach out to me privately as well, you can send me an email at contact@johnlee.com. I'd love to support anything you guys are doing. So as long as it, is within our sort of industry and values align. So that's like when you ask that question, the value connection, and again, this is one big success technique that you can all use, is that when a lot of people, they're always thinking about, when you go to a networking event, they're always giving you like, oh, here's my card, and they're trying to shove your cards, like, here's my card. And that's not great, right? That's not great. Why is that not great? Because you don't even know how you can help them, right? Someone might know somebody who knows somebody else. And these people, that's how I built a multi-million-pound property portfolio, just by knowing the right people. I knew the right estate agents. People ask me, John, how do you buy property in Zone 1 Central London below market value? Because you know people who know people, right? You know people, it's the contacts. Again, it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. I remember one time I was calling up a lot of agents, and the person on the phone just kind of paused for a second and said to me, oh, excuse me, can I just ask you, are you John Lee? I said, yeah, I came to one of your shows and I follow you on social media. And immediately we had that connection, and then now we can talk about doing business. So that's why it's so important for a lot of you to, if you want to create success in your life, you also need to increase exposure. The more exposure you have, the more people that know that you exist, the more likely you are people going to do business with you. So I know one of the reasons why I do YouTube, and again, selfishly, and my secret agenda is I know some of you are going to reach out to me and we're going to do some great impacting together. I know we're going to be able to help and serve each other as well. And that's why you always hear me say, it's never about selling, it's always about serving. That's why I always put a lot of my shows on all around the world. If any of you would love to attend, by the way, head over to johnleeevent.com. I'll put a link in the description. You can come along, and I'd love to be able to show you some of these insights and things that work. But connections is also about having the right people around you. So if you want to create success in your life, value connection is also who can you learn from. Actually, it's interesting because when this taxi driver was asking me this question, how do you know all this stuff? Like, where do you learn all this stuff from? And honestly, it ain't that complicated. It's so simple. So here's how you got to think about it. Find the people who already have the result that you are looking for, and get that person to just sit down with you, take them out for coffee, buy them lunch, buy them dinner, do something to become within their vicinity. So that's why there's talk about proximity to power. Like, how do I get stuff like this, allocation like this? Because I know people who know people, right? So they always give allocation. Same with real estate, same with deals. Like, imagine if you were one of the 5 people that went into Mark Zuckerberg's dorm room when he had the idea for Facebook. I think it was like 7 people went in, 6 of them invested in the company, and now those 6 people are billionaires. So proximity to power, that's why I say you want to create success. Again, this whole channel is about how do we create more success in our life? Not just about money, but everything else, your health, your wealth, right? Your relationships to yourself, your relationships to your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, business partner, your relationships to the people around you that you can serve and help. And I think a lot of the times people are just focused on themselves, when actually in today's day and age, it's been about focused on other people and focused on how you can serve and help someone else. And you've heard that saying, and I've said this many times, right? If you want to add value to your life, you must first add value to somebody else's life. There is a direct, distinct correlation to that, right? So if you really want to create more success in your life, okay, number one, all right, you have to know, and so this is a big lesson, you have to know the value. And different values are value in being able to see it, value in being able to educate on it, value to be able to see the trends in the value of what we call below market value, the value of intrinsic value, and the last one is, of course, the value of connection value. Once you get all these 6 in place, I promise you, watch how your life changes. If I was to ask you a question right now, and this is actually, I want you to do a test on this. Scale of 1 to 10, how successful do you believe you are? Right? And I want to rate it. Like I want to write down health, wealth, and your personal relationships. And then you can have the last one for your overall happiness, right? Because each one of these scores, and you want to mark it from 0 to 10. 0, like if you're broke right now, you might put 1. If you're really rich right now and you got a lot of money, you might put 8 or 9. Okay? And this is what we call our happy score. So let's say you have 5 in 1 in health, maybe have 1 in your wealth, maybe you have 10, so that's 16, that's your score, right? So the top scores out of 30. So when you think about this, when you score it, you can't improve something you can't measure. So that's why it's always important that you want to create success, you must understand this lesson, right? It's actually one of the biggest secrets that no one really talks about. And I want to share this with you because it's made a massive impact to my life and my business and all the things that I do, whether it's, achieving goals, monetary, starting businesses, taking to the next level. It's really about understanding these 6 core principles. And if you get really, really good at all of these, I promise you the score that you set now, and if you do over like 365 days, like 1 year from this point, and you track it, watch what happens 1 year from. That's why, again, I want to create more content. I know this is a little bit different to some of the other videos I put out. By the way, let me know if you prefer this format or the really nicely edited version with all the graphics and things like that. I just think sometimes it's just having some real talk with a lot of you and trying to share with you a lot of the experiences over the last 20 years that I've done, and some of them have been great, and I'll be sharing some of the downtimes as well, things that didn't work that hopefully you can avoid to really. I don't want you to have to go through some of the stuff that I've gone through, right? I want you to have more hair than I do when you get to my age. But if you found this useful, do me a favor. My commitment to all of you is that I will do as much content. I'll commit to do this every single day, as much as I can. Some days I'm gonna have some off days, but I really want to get this knowledge to all of you so it can impact you, so you can impact other people, right? That's all I ask. All I ask is if I make an impact or I change your life in one of these 3 areas, please help me share this with other people so they can really impact them, and we create that ripple effect, and then we pay it forward. And by doing that, we create a much better world to live in. Yes or no? So if you like this, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know some of the things that you're working, you need help with. I'm always going to reply to the comment. I'm going to be very active in the comments. So make sure you leave some comments, questions. I'll personally go in and answer them myself. And I just so look forward to seeing you on some of the new videos I'll put up as well. I'll also pin some videos around here as well, so go and check it out. And also, if you're interested in learning more, check out the description below. I'd love to serve you at the next level. But for me, if you want to create success in your life, you must always take massive action. Do whatever it takes. And remember, you must always believe anything is possible. This is John Lee, your mentor. Check out some of the videos here and here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.